And this tour basically is very special because the aim is to try to attract more tourists to Turkey, especially to southeastern Turkey, from a few different countries. And for that reason, they have invited, this association called Tursab has invited the ambassadors of a few countries, including the Chinese ambassador, the India ambassador, Macedonia ambassador, and Ukraine ambassador, as Bosnia-Herzegovina ambassadors are participating in this trip for 2 days. We are touring the most cultural parts of Gaziantep and Şanlıurfa here. So I have the president of Tursab with me here today. Thank you for joining me.
Hi.
Right now we're going to be talking about why they have decided to create this tour, what the main aim of this tour is. So first of all, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Can you tell us why you have decided to organize this tour?
We like to show the foreign mission members the historical side of Turkey and cultural side of Turkey to attract their population to this direction. So as you said, this is 12,000 year old historical places. It has changed mankind understanding about the life and everything. So that's why we like to invite all our ambassadors here to show them what we have here. So for them to tell in their country that this place is safe, it's easy to travel, it is nice to travel, and at the same time we like them to taste our food here. As you know, we have also a very important kitchen.
Yes, tell us about the kitchen a little bit.
It's rather than telling you have to taste it, so they have to come and taste it here. So this was the main reason to take them from the busy side of Ankara to take them a little bit southern Turkey to give a breath, for them to see around. That was the main thing.
So I'm going to ask you a little bit more about the tour and what your goals are. For example, how many tourists came here. But before that, let's give them a little bit some closer look at where we are right now. First of all, the name of this site is called Göbeklitepe, and it has about 12,000 years of history right here, and the
oldest temple of mankind. That has been found by the German archaeologist, and it's really it is much older than pyramids, and it's really important historical site.
And just to give our viewers a little bit of the sense, for example, we're seeing a round structure here, where we're seeing the pillars. We're seeing it's in a shape of a ring. So it's very specific, very ancient, and we're seeing on the pillars, for example, some very old carvings of animals. For example, on one here on the left, if our cameraman is seeing that right now, we're seeing some birds, what do you think they look like? I think
they look like they may even look like sitting dinosaurs.
Right, I was gonna say exactly.
It's really strange.
So we're seeing some very specific carvings there, and when we take a look just a little bit to the right, on one of the pillars, we're seeing something that looks like a crocodile or an alligator.
Yes.
So some very distinct architecture.
Probably it's hunting, you know. There is an animal down there.
Right. Yes, I didn't see that. Right under the crocodile, actually, there is like a wild boar. You're seeing that on the screen. So it seems like it's depicting some kind of hunting going on at that moment. So some very clear understanding of what these people were able to see when they were experiencing their life about 12,000 years ago. So let's go back to talking about this tour
Talking
about the targets. Yes. So this tour is part of a 2-day tour with ambassadors here.
We start this program, and we will continue periodically because we like them to see different sides of Turkey. The target is, of course, increase the capacity of tourists here. And at the same time, it's a cultural exchange. So they have to see here, we have to see them, we have to know them, they have to know us. As much as they know, they love Turkey. As much as they love, they talk about Turkey. So as you know, we have, especially this side of Turkey has a kind of wrong image, you know, like as you have seen in the European press. So we like to get rid of those things with the help of these ambassadors.
And especially when it comes to China, Chinese market is a huge market potential.
Yes.
What's the situation right now, and what are your goals?
The Chinese market increased almost 100%. It was 250,000 Chinese visitors, and now it is. We are trying to catch 500,000. The target for China can be much higher than this. Especially in few years, we like to reach 2 million tourists from China. It depends on, of course, the connections, flight connections and everything, but the target is like this. We know that 130 million tourists, outgoing tourists, is traveling around the world from China, so it's a huge market. So we are at the beginning. So we will try to do our best to get the deserved part of this activity.
And when we're talking about Chinese tourists, because this is a very cultural tour, it's not, and we have a lot of different parts in Turkey which attract tourists as well. For example, Antalya with a beautiful sea.
Yes, but Chinese tourist is the tourist we desire, really, because they are concentrated on culture and history. So Cappadocia is the main destination for Chinese people, and I think that this Göbeklitepe will be one of these destinations. It is really attractive for the Chinese culture and mentality. They don't like to come and see and sand. They don't like to lay down under the sun. They like to spend their time with the cultural activities.
So these kind of locations are actually perfect for Chinese.
Perfect for Chinese. That's why we invite Chinese ambassadors, and they are very interested.
Yes, I've been seeing them taking a lot of pictures. Yes, definitely. And we also have been to 2 or 3 other locations already. One was the Zeugma.
Zeugma is also
museum.
one of the best place in Turkey. Zeugma's story is totally different, and I think it is one of the highlights for Chinese people also. So,
can you tell us about it?
What can I tell about it? This is a museum. It's a museum focused on the Zeugma mosaics, and you can easily see that how many thousand years ago they can make art. So they have a taste of tales. It's original stones from the river.
Wow.
There's nothing handmade. It is totally original stones from the river. Only the red stones are the glasses. The other ones are really found from the river. So they have done with these small stones. They have done unbelievable pictures, amazing pictures, and amazing products there. I think you have done some shootings there also. So this is.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I was fascinated by it because I've been to Gaziantep many times, news reporting, but I never had a chance to come here and enjoy it.
Gaziantep doesn't have only the museum. They have one of the biggest zoo in Europe, and they have also copper bazaar. It's also very famous, well known in Turkey. It is the center of copper. And what else they have? They have spice bazaar. And we have been in Castle yesterday there all together. So we have too many things to show people here, and I think whoever comes around here will be satisfied.
And it seems like the people are very friendly. They want tourists.
This is what we like to show. That's why we like them to come down here and touch the people, so they can see that they are really nice people here. That was the reason I was talking about, that they have to see, because when they see, they love. So when they love, they protect you outside of Turkey. So whatever they say, they can say that, no, we have been there. It's not like this. So the people are not like this. Site is not like this. The food is not like this. This is our main target, actually.
And one more location that we're going to visit to that I'm very excited about, and that's the Rumkale, the Roman castle. Can you tell us about the tour that we're going to experience?
So you like to get some hint about this, but let's see together. Let's see
Yes,
together.
but
Let's surprise.
Okay, but just to tell our viewers that there's also a beautiful boat tour that you can also go on the Euphrates River. That
And
is
you will see city under the water.
a city under the water. What else do
City
you
under
want?
the water.
Okay.
Keep shooting.
Okay, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
very
us.
much.
Thank you. So just to give you a little bit of an overview of what we've been talking about, and just to give you a little bit more details, I want to show the viewers one more time in a close-up the Göbeklitepe that we've been talking about. So this place really is beautiful. If you can just come with me, come a little bit closer one more time, I think it's very interesting for the viewers to see what they have been able to build such a long time ago. Here we're seeing such a massive part of a structure that they have been able to unearth, and it's basically really well preserved. We're seeing some different rings that have been made, and what's really important here is that the archaeologists that have been doing the work here believe that this could actually be the world's oldest temple. So they believe it's a place where rituals were taking place, where people were actually coming together and just carrying out different rituals in this temple that they believe it is. And we're seeing some very old carvings on the pillars. We're seeing some animals, very specific animals here on the walls. We showed you before there were some types of birds or something that actually resembles very much a dinosaur. Under it, we can see, if we come a little bit to the right, if we come a little bit above here, I want to show you another very specific site, carving actually on one of the pillars. So you can see the wild boar over there. So it's very specific that you can see the carvings on the wall, the wild boar over there. Over it you can see the carvings of the bird likes, and on to the right once again we're seeing two crocodiles on different pillars, and this is about 6,000 years even before writing was invented, according to these archaeologists that were working here. So they're saying this temple, or this location called Göbeklitepe in Şanlıurfa in southeastern Turkey, where we are right now, they believe this place was created about 12,000 years ago, and that means it's even 6,000 years before writing was invented. So clearly a very significant finding for archaeology and for history, for human beings' understanding of history. And that's just a little bit of a taste of what Şanlıurfa and Gaziantep is all about. It's all about history, it's all about culture. So really a lot of things to experience and to learn when you come here to Gaziantep and to Şanlıurfa. And we've been talking about the tastes of food here. It's spectacular, very spicy food, but a lot of meat types of food here in Şanlıurfa and Gaziantep, really the specialty here. And it's very friendly atmosphere, it's really beautiful. And so this was the location that we've been participating in the tour that was organized by Tursab, the travel agencies, Turkey's Travel Agencies Association in Turkey, who organized it to introduce this location to a couple of ambassadors in Turkey so that they can actually introduce it to their own countries and try to attract more tourists. So I hope you got a little bit of a taste of what it seems like here, the history behind here in Şanlıurfa, and maybe one day you can come here and experience it yourself, because I totally believe it's worth the visit. Thank you for joining us.